When Street Fighter 6 first came out, it was clear that Capcom really tried to beef up the Street Fighter characters, and I don't mean giving them more muscles, I mean giving them more tools, and we can see this through Capcom giving a lot of characters unique mechanics. A character like Ryu now has that Denjin charge that buffs up his Hadokens and Hashogeki. Recently Terry came out and he have his special to special cancel with his heavy charge. We have other characters like Manon, who's entirely designed around the middle system and the middle levels. The higher the middle level is, the stronger the command grabs and hit grabs become. But obviously not all mechanics are treated equally. Some are clearly better than others, and I don't necessarily mean from a balancing perspective. Case in point, a character like Cammy, who does have a unique mechanic where if she holds a heavy version of her special moves, she gets the OD version. That's unique. No other character can do that in the game, but unfortunately this doesn't add up to that much. You just use it for like that one heavy punch into heavy DP into level 3 super combo and maybe like some stun combos here and there with the hooligan. Another character that got a unique mechanic is Kimberly, where if you use her level 3 super, now she gets a speed boost and a damage boost. Pretty cool. But that's about it. There's not much else in terms of interaction with that mechanic. It's so linear and one-dimensional. So today we're gonna examine the character mechanics. What are the best ones in the game? And more importantly, let's put it outright first, what makes a good character mechanic? For me, the number one thing is it should add to the character and not be detrimental. A character like Jamie almost feels in his entirety like a gimmick, like you're just playing that drinking gimmick where he is clearly designed about being uber strong at 4 level drinks, but I want to have access to my character and not feel like I have to go through chores just to get there. I don't think that is very fun. The second thing is there have to be many ways for you to interact with that mechanic. A mechanic that is so one-dimensional, I don't think that makes for a good character mechanic. And the third one is I do believe the level of interactivity with that mechanic should be somewhat optional. A good mechanic is something that you can use to your advantage to fully optimize the character, but if you don't, the character should still be functional somewhat. And in my opinion, one of the mechanics that I do believe to be very good in Street Fighter 6 is and I know what you're about to say, Mura, what? This is what makes Bison totally broken. This is what gives him insane combos. I get you. I get like from a balancing perspective, there is some to discuss about it, but design-wise, it's actually amazing. When Bison hits you with his back fist special, he blinds a Psycho Mine, and that Psycho Mine will detonate after a set amount of time, or if you happen to interact with it with some of his Psycho powered special moves. What I really like about it is that there is a lot of ways to interact with this mechanic. It opens up a lot of strategies. You can go in on the offense, go with overhead lows, try to mix up the opponent, get a hit confirm into like increased combo damage thanks to the follow-up combos that you get when the Psycho Mine is set on. Some Bison players love to abuse the opponent drive gauge and go for block strings that will deal massive damage to their opponent drive gauge. Others maybe like to more establish a throw game instead of like heavy committing into damaging their opponent drive. Some Bison players will even like set up the Psycho Mine and just chill and just wait for the explosion to get like another in at the opponent. Others might even be like a little bit more aggressive and try to go for like a sweep or something and time it with the explosion. There is so much that you can do. It pretty much gives Bison an option to select what he want to do and interact with it in a number of ways. Now, what I really like about it is it enhances Bison, right? But can Bison function without it? He absolutely can. He still will have most of what he can do. His neutral is pretty much unchanged. He can still get you to the corner with a specific combo and then throw Lubio there. It doesn't fundamentally change the character, it just makes him better. I do think you can still play Bison fundamentally the same. Even if the Psycho Mine system was like completely removed, he would still function as a character. There's a number of ways that you can use it. I think it's great. I really do think it's great. One comment I'm expecting to see is, well, what about Aki's poison mechanic? And in many ways they are kind of similar, but I do think Bison is a more fleshed out one. The thing about Aki's is that almost all of her special moves would inflict the poison mechanic anyways, so there is less intentionality with it, there is less decision making in my opinion, and there is not that much in terms of like interacting with it. It just makes it that the next combo will do a lot more damage. But with Bison, there is like the timers that you got to worry about, there is like using it to damage their drive. It feels like there's a lot more give and take, and it's a lot more dynamic in how you want to interact with it. What do you guys think? They're convinced? I hope so. If you like the video but you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Over 70% of my viewers aren't, so you get to see more of me and my friends, the EX-Men. And yes, like in my canon, Magneto is I recruited him. Excuse the silliness and enjoy the rest of your video. Another character mechanics that I'm really a big fan of is Blanca Shan toy. And this is easily like the biggest upgrades that Blanca had gotten with this game. It's that the system, and I know what you're about to say, but Mura, this is just the mechanics that you use for like mix-ups on knockdown. And sure, this is probably like the most common ways that you get to use it. You pretty much knock them down, set up the Blanca Shan, your plus, use an electricity special move, and now you get a mix-up. And these mix-ups can be absolutely devastating. But what I really like about it is that there are many ways that you can use this. Sure, mix-up, knockdown are really great, but it also interacts differently with like many of Blanca's specials. Like his electricity, well, if Blanca is in his like level 2 super, it also is enhanced. I do really like that the Blanca Shans react differently to how you use, like what type of electricity you used pretty much. Also, there is like a very unique trait to it where it could in some situation make Blanca's level 1 super completely safe. Plus on block even, which is like a really unique utility that no other character got. So there is a lot more interaction with it. I do think it's something that people use now, probably in a very streamlined way, but also there's a lot of potential for many other uses for this mechanic. And like I said, can Blanca function without it? Absolutely. It's like something that if you want to take your Blanca to the next level, you could use, but I don't think it is just there for Blanca and you have to use it. Nah, it adds up to the character, but it absolutely isn't a detriment. The final character mechanics that I'm gonna talk about today, it is just Shanle sitting around. And I know what you're gonna say, because like trust me, like I've been someone who played Shanle in many of the previous games, and trust me, it was weird. Like when I first used Shanle in this game, it was something that was kind of weird. It felt off. Like I couldn't really get used to it that easily, but over time I really grew to like it. And I know what you're about to say. Muna, the stands, they are just used for combos, and that is one of the main ways to use them for sure, is that they do enhance her combos. You are getting the optimal damage, the optimal combo routes with them. But I really do think they add a lot to Shanle, and there are many new strategies that have come up with that stance. For example, the heavy punch always used to be one of Shanle's best pokes. But not that much if you happen to get it to hit or like whiff punish with it. But now the stands allow Shanle to be more dynamic. You don't have to be stuck glued to the ground to whiff punish. Now heavy punch stands let you convert. That standing heavy punch that also used to be like a really good poke, now you can use it to kind of like frame trap the opponent if you cancel into the stands and just frame trap them with the jab version. Interesting. That's really interesting, giving Shanle like a dimension that she never really had before. Long range frame traps, I like it. Also, it's kind of interesting that she is able to block during it, so it's not like a super ultra hard commitment most of the time, although like she can block after a specific number of frames. It obviously does give Shanle like a low overhead mix that she didn't have before, so it's like there's a little bit of play in terms of resets. I really do think that this opens up a lot of doors for Shanle. It makes Shanle like a little bit different, a little bit dynamic, and it opens up like a huge mastery curve for this character. But again, you can interact with it, like you can limit your interaction with this mechanic as much as you want. Is it essential to Shanle? Absolutely not. The character would still function completely the same without it, but I still do think it adds a lot to her and make her a bit more fun in this version. But that's about it for today's video. Let me know which character mechanics do you really like in this game. Which one do you think are the best ones? Which character mechanics do you not like that much or feel like maybe holds the character back? Feels like you're playing a function more than something that is there to add more mastery and more fun to the individual characters. I would love to hear your thoughts about it in the comment section below. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon, Discord, Twitter, and Twitch pages in the description. Thank you so much for watching and stay safe.